Hello. I think I'm live. It's kind of hard to tell these days. Also, man, oh man, last two stream, I had to end in a crash instead of raiding out. It's such a disappointment, and I'm hoping today will be better. That it won't happen. I'm basically turning down everything that I am not using, hoping that my computer can handle it. I'm not really sure if it's actually a computer issue, more so, what would you call that? More so a um memory issue, maybe? I don't know. Can't tell if it's hardware or network, or if it's just something else. Could be OS. Who knows? Who knows? All right. We're going to make some announcements here, as we do. A little bit sleepy right now, but it's okay. We're vibing here. We're going to continue making our Uber template to make whatever genre of games we want forever. Visual novel is the first thing in line. Now, visual novel is actually huge in terms of it's pretty wide in what it means, right? Because even the visual novels, sometimes there's not just dialogue and decisions, but also some sort of game mode, their stats and stuff like that. Now, templatizing all those things probably is a very inefficient thing to do. But either way, we found something we do need. That is the dialogue box, which we finished making. Actually, I just finished it right after crashing. Hey, Tony. So we got it going here. So you can see like this whole color text thing. This comes from the fact that I'm using text, rich text label. But in addition to that, I'm making a custom tag that are embedded within the text to allow for different type speed. And it works right here if you look at it. You got this test green text, this is fast text, this is a slow text, and this is very slow text, which is not very slow. I made it very fast here, so I can make it like that. So our dialog box is working. And that is good. And I made it run by doing start on ready. As soon as the ready starts, it does the start thing. Instead, we're going to get rid of this so that the start only happens after the text has been inputted. I want to see what other things I can do with BB code. I've seen people do those like wavy, like rainbow text and stuff like that. I don't know if that's part of some sort of implementation that people like to use commonly, or if it is like, you know, something I have to add to this. And of course, we need one more function that says skip, where we go. Func, skip to end, which will skip the dialogue to the end. Hopefully that makes all sense. Which basically turns off the speed, I think. I think all I need to do there is just say, hey, text label, visible characters will equal to the full length. Tony says, are you still making visual novel? Or I remember wrong. I am. And then we were doing that yesterday. And then we were making our dialog box because that's one function that we have skipped over. So I'm making the dialog box work and then probably try to generalize it as much as I can, so that, you know, anybody who needs their own versions of it can, you know, use it however they need to. So far, so good, because right here, this box is a panel, which means people can just override the style box to make it their own. So that's customizable so far. Only thing that is missing right now is the font, but I could also be like, hey, go over here and, you know, change the font within the thing. That's not too crazy to ask. So I think people can probably use that. I just need to make sure the visible characters are full. And I think what I can do here is text label get total character count. And then we can do skip to end here. And that's going to skip the type animation to reveal all the text within the dialog box. Start revealing the text in the dialog box based on the type speed. Like so. Question is, what do we do about the choices, right? The dialog box is not just dialog box. It comes with some of the choices as well. Excuse me. And we've made a bunch of buttons several times. It's not our first rodeo. So we're going to try to do that as well. And I wonder if the parsing should happen within the text itself. Like I could be like, hey, if I do this, this makes a choice. Or have a thing where it says, okay, add a choice now. Maybe. We might have to change this so that you can add a line, choice, remove a line based on the code. So instead of typing it directly, you got to access it through code. Maybe that'll make sense. So instead of having a multi-line export, we're going to have a function call where we could be like dialog builder. I suppose, is it an overkill if I make a new object? I could make it just use the dialog response as part of it. Nah, I think I'm going to make a new dialog factory. So the dialog box will take in I mean, it's two different function. Okay. So you see how like the dialogue, you might have like a paragraph or line of text. You may add a line for, choices, and then you may add the dialogue again. And that's kind of like making a factory where you go, hey, dialog box func, add a paragraph, and then it's a bunch of text, right? And then this is a BB code text. It'll be like BB code text. And then you could have func at choice, which will be just choice string. Tony says, why did you choose to make visual novel? I'm not I'm making a sample. It's the most simple version of a game, like as far as gameplay is concerned. I'm not stopping here. I have a collection of all the plugins and functions I have created into a single template. And I am now going through popular genres one at a time to see if I can make basically every game with it. And then if there are some missing parts that can be made easy by adding a new common feature like dialog box, for example, then I want to add them. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and experiencing what it's like to build a game, build each genre of a game with this template and see where it's missing things. I mean, that's the only reason I did visual novel. Also, it's relevant because games like right now, Dispatch is a popular game that's happening right now. And that's basically a visual novel in some sense. It's a narrative heavy game. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are inspired by that and being like, I want to make a Dispatch. And I could be like, this is how you make Dispatch. Uncle It's relevant. I think. Okay. Um, choice string is okay, I guess. That also means that we definitely want to detect when there is a choice selection being made. We want to signal out being like choice selected. And then we can both have the choice ID, which will be integer, and then it'll have the choice string as well, just in case that's what's required. I suppose instead of auto detecting it, we could say, hey, provide the choice ID, like the identifier along with it, to indicate what you want to do with this. Adding a paragraph is simply just adding a text label. That's not too bad. That also means that then we probably want to add these in a line, like VBox container, like so. So we could have container instead of directly accessing the label. We're going to have to do one at a time, which is going to be a headache on its own. But we'll see. We'll figure this out. We're going to probably reveal this slowly. So we'll have a custom rich text label that uses this like reveal speed logic to it. And basically, let's see. The text revealing animation should be handled by the each label. Tony says, I mean, you can make visual novel with practically any language and without any engine at all. Do you like visual novel genre, like in general? By the way, I don't. I mean, it's kind of close to like a traditional RPG. It's like a step away from going to CRPG, right? So you have a visual novel, which is simply that quote unquote you can't make it anyway. Obviously, there's ways to make quote unquote visual novel in ways that are unique. Where it becomes interesting is if you start mixing. So you have a visual novel, which is quintessentially some stats plus like scene and characters and dialogues, right? What if you start adding like top down controls in between those scenes? Suddenly you have a top down RPG with like cutscene dialogues. Or, you know, if you do that in a point and click, you have a CRPG, classic RPG, like point and click situation. So it's like, it's more of recognizing the building blocks that evolves into it. And then for me as an educator, it's a matter of breaking the genre down into the smallest launchable chunks so that we can increment the difficulties in a chunk that makes sense, as opposed to being like, today we're going to learn about pluses, as opposed to being like, oh, today we're going to make a calculator, which feels different, right? Hey, Temi, or Temiqui, Temi Acqui, Temiaqui, I don't know. Anyways, hi. Okay. So the Temiaqui says yes. I said a lot of words, so I don't know which one is right, but thanks. Hi. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. All right. So the text. So, anyways, so I originally had it so that the dialog box it takes in the text directly, and then that applies the speed. Blah blah blah. It works great. Beautiful. You know, if I want to be flexible, I think what I actually want to do instead of changing all of this into something else, I might have to rename the dialog box to something else. Because right now, what we have, this is not a dialog box. This is a what I would call a um, text dialogue text label, right? Which can have its own little like style box if you need. And dialog box will have a series of all these things. So instead of calling this a dialog box, we can rename this to be like uh, dialog text label, right? For example, and then dialog text label. And this one, then you can say, hey, you can just add the text and then it does the whole reveal thing. It finishes. You can skip to the end of this. And then it's like part of its logic, and we don't have to worry about adding paragraph or adding choice because this itself is a label that just reveals text. So we're cool with that, I think. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to rename some of these things. Dialog text label, and call this dialog text label code, right? That means the actual dialog box, which will also be a control node, this one will actually have a panel container, I think. So this will also have its own color. So for example, I could be like, hey, dialog itself is, dialog box itself may have some sort of color here. Obviously it won't be this, but let's say I have something like this. And then later I go, hey, I'm going to add this thing in here. Then I can start lining them up. And then another thing I can do here, I mean, it is full rect. So for example, if I do VBox container, for example, and then I put labels here one at a time, right? And then this is full rect. I guess it's already fill. And then this one has each item is something, something, something. Then I can go through each text label and then reveal them one at a time. Tamiakwe says, I think the point of making visual novel in Godot is that it gives you the opportunities like adding extra mini games, but it could be much easier with PyCharm. Why did you choose Godot? I'm not particularly okay. So I chose Godot because Godot is a game engine that I like to use. It's open source. Open source is good. And having an engine overall allows me to do a lot of other things in addition to doing whatever I need that is purpose built, right? Purpose built tools are good. You could argue like if you're just making top down RPG, you can use RPG Maker and you can find different ways to do it. The thing is, sometimes people just like using the engine for having that flexibility and being able to code additional thing, as you said, like mini games and all those things. And obviously, you can choose any language. You can do any language, any engine. It doesn't matter what you use at the end of the day. Right now, I'm going through the visual novel part of this template. By the way, I'm building a template by putting together all the toolings that I've created so far. Hey, Makori, aka State Machine, my deck builder, my finite state machine, the AI logic, my dialogue engine. And basically, I'm going through each game genre in evolving manner to be like, hey, like, here's a fundamental genre, like the quintessential example of the genre of the game that you can make using this template. And these are all the pieces that you can use. And the evolution of the genre is that you by adding something more, one more thing, or by changing things, the genre changes, right? As I said, visual novel is just scene and choices. But as soon as you start adding mini games in between, you get something like Dispatch. And as soon as you start putting in like a top-down traversal or side platform traversal, all of a sudden you have something more like platforming RPG or like action RPG, a narrative game, a little bit more complex narrative game. And then you start adding other things like deck building, all those things. You start having these like different genres of games that you could have, right? And mix match is up to the developer. So that's why I'm choosing to continue with Godot to go through each genre. Chris says, wait, you completed the state machine plugin you were making? I thought it would take longer. No, that was over a long time ago. I mean, I confirmed this functionality. Functionality works. Only thing it's missing is documentation or like tutorial for me to help people use it. But yeah. Tony says, oh, can you share your state machine plugin? I didn't know you have wrote one. I've written one. I've used it for my GOAP logic. It basically has a state runner, and all you have to do is extend the state node, and it's an abstract class, and then it manages, going from different state to state. I think it'll become more relevant once I start using it. But yeah, so it's all part of it. It's all part of it. So I'm trying to do that right now. And Nikori, since you were here yesterday, I got the little different embedded text working for the text labels. So I could do the whole like, this is a text, and then I can do very fast and say, this is very fast red text. And then I can go like something like that. This is slow text. And then if I run this, I could do VFast. Yeah, so this is customizable. So I could just change the label here by changing the key and value. So the speed, this is the text speed, and then you can add your own tag name, what that means. So you can make it VFast if you want. And it works right now. I realize for a box, it needs to have like order of like being able to put choice, another label and stuff like that. So I decided to use this as a label itself and make another box where it contains the label as part of the item. So that I can also add choices as part of the item as well. It's character per second. The numbers are character per second. And then it has a skip to the end feature as well. So for the dialog box itself, we're going to attach a script here. Right. Because dialog box is a, collection of these things. And basically they will need stuff like add text label, and then add choice label. And then as soon as you add them, I don't know if I should make it so that it plays as soon as you add them, or you're just like adding and waiting, and then you can say func play, which will be play the animation. We should be able to have pause if there's any of those things. I'm not sure if there should be a pause in between. I suppose I could do that. I could be like add pause in between. Should I? Let me think. Maybe not for now. I feel like there is a reason why you might want to do that. Like you might want to force the pause of the text playing. I suppose you do want that, huh? You want a feature to like actually pause this. What else? So you want to add blah blah blah. You want to play it, pause. Next, we'll like skip the current animation and start playing the next one. Right? Yeah. And then when the choices are selected, we want to signal out saying that dialogue reveal finished, which is indicating that everything has been revealed. And we want another signal that's saying that the choice selected, which will be like, hey, this choice ID or this choice string has been selected, so that the box can signal out And then whoever is calling down onto this can use that information for something else. Oh, it's no longer a Black Friday deal. I probably need to update that. At Oh wait, it's still 60% off. End of the year sale. Nice. Okay. Nothing crazy then. I'm slouching. Mikuri says, what do the numbers mean? Oh yeah, no. Yes, I've already explained. Cool. All right. So we got the labels working. There's something about the sizing that might not work properly, but we'll see. Um, text label. I think. I don't know if I should make it so that people need to insert directly the label or they just need to provide a paragraph. Content, which will be text. That's fine. And then the choice itself will be like choice ID that's provided by the user. And then choice text will be the choice text here. And then the selected choice will be provided by the ID itself. It returns the ID of the selected choice. I think that should be good. Seems like that's everything that needs to be there. Temiyaku says, Equi says, I am new to game developing. I made my first game in Godot and I really liked doing everything, including art, only with things like documentation and my imagination. I mean, like there is nothing that limits what I will do. Yes. I mean, that's the benefit of using game engine that allows you to do a lot of things. And I do love doing that too. I have made a lot of games over the years. A lot of like different genres and stuff like that, mainly for my video. Obviously you saw my YouTube video, so I came from YouTube. um, but I have never put them together. I have a lot of things that I make that are useful for myself that I don't reuse a lot, so I'm trying my best to make sure I reuse a lot of these things. So that's what the point of this exercise is for me. um, and there's no shame in templatizing. I would say templatizing is the smartest thing to do. It might actually, I think making template and reusing templates are faster. I mean, because it's like using library is definitely faster than using AI. But yeah, Terabyte says hello. Hi, Terabyte. Welcome. We're living life here. Okay. So add text label should be pretty straightforward. It's just adding this. Okay, so I'm still debating. Right now, the box is requiring a dialogue text label to be added. And it's auto adding what that is. Now, if I want to be flexible, instead of taking the content and then translating it into this object, I could make it plug and play it so that it allows users to have their own custom implementation of this, right? So arguably, what I actually want to do is make a dialogue text label abstract class that's a panel container. And then this particular implementation of it would extend that, right? That's the proper design, like pluginable design does way to do it. But I feel like a lot of these are like, that might be an overkill, like a overgeneralizing, potentially, I think. So I'm going to make it do this. We'll preload the text label here. Ooh, you know what I can do is now I'm going to preload this. People can customize it in their own time, I guess. So when the text label first gets added in the dialog box, we're going to have a VBox container here. I suppose the container itself, we may allow for scrolls. So let's say we do a scroll container with VBox, where the scroll will stretch to fill with no minimum size, potentially. And then we could say this is on ready, this VBox container, which is a content container. We want to push back or add child to this. That is a new version of the text label, which would be instantiate as dialog text label here. And then its text label content. Is it? Is this correct? No, it's the dialog text. These are on ready. So I almost want to do underscore for these, but will equal to the content itself here, like so. Okay, so text has been filled in. It is added as a child, so it gets added as part of this. There's going to be some finagling we are going to need to do, but for now, I think we're okay. And if we're playing, what we want to do, I'm going to get rid of this for now. And I want to just say, hey, VBox container, we're going to grab all the children. And for dialogue content in this children, if dialogue content has method called, we're calling this start, I think. Then we're going to start it, I think. Yes. So we're going to say has a method called start. Then we're going to start the content. One important thing is right now, each dialog box or each text label, if I have different versions of it, defines its own speed parameter. So this actually needs to come from somewhere bigger, from the top. So I think what I want to do here is actually make a static like configuration. Technically, I could add that as like a project setting as I'm doing the whole plugin thing. I could add that as like the dialog manager's like setting over here. But I also think that's kind of an overkill. So I want to keep this out on here as part of the dialog boxes parameter. So what we're going to have is probably speed tag here as an export for now. And this one will be passed down. What is it called? Text speed tag config. Like so. So it uses the input method of this as part of it. The default speed probably also needs to be provided as part of that as well. Over here, we got the default speed tag, which will be default speed tag. We're going to say same thing over here as an export. For now. Okay. All right, so we're adding the text label to the container. The choice label adding doesn't do anything yet. And when it's playing, it's going to go through each one of them and then start it one at a time. We want to do this one at a time. The play means we're going to have a bunch of items and we're going to execute them one start at a time. And only if one of them finishes, it's going to move on to the next. So I guess there's several ways to do this. If I treat get children as an array instead of making my own content array, though I feel like I should make my own content array. Let's try that. So constant here, I want to make the constant at the bottom. We'll add, I mean, it's not space efficient though if I do that. All right, I'll do it this way then. What we're going to keep track with is currently playing, right? So a var here, var current content index, which will be 0 to start. And then when we're playing, we're going to start the first one that's available. So every time we go through, after we start, I guess we should start from -1 actually. Start from -1. And every time we go through, we're going to plus equals 1. And then we're starting, then we're just going to break out of this loop. So we're currently playing whatever. And I guess what we can do here is connect to content. So I kind of want to connect this in the beginning when I'm adding it to the child, as opposed to doing it that way. So we could say signal finished, I think. What was it called? Let me go look it up again. Text reveal finished. So the text reveal is finished, which gets emitted down here. Oh, yeah, I gotta update some of these names real quick. We're going to connect the finished thing on reveal finished. It's probably going to execute this right here. Right now we're assuming what reveal has finished the one that's being revealed currently, which is the current index, like so. So it's going to go to the next one. So we'll say I suppose this should start from where the current is. What do we need to do that? Play next is what we're going to call. And the first play is basically same as just playing next, where the current index is -1. And then the play next logic will be very simple. It's just going to go from for I equals current content index. What is it? we're doing, this is not Java, so it has to be like I in range of current index and like the size of the children, right? VBox container, children or child count, something like that. Let me just make sure. Range. With 2 elements in the range, it says starts from B. Okay, so that's where it starts and increases by step 1. Okay. So if the I goes from current index, and then it's going to go all the way to the end of the count. And then if the get child in index I has method start, then we're going to start that. Content will equal to this. Like so. If so, we're going to assign the current content index to be I, what we're playing. I mean, we're already playing this guy, so we need to make sure this is +1 here. And then basically, I guess I could just increase this 1 like that. And we could say, hey, you know what? If current IDX is greater than the size, then we've exceeded our thing. And then we're going to say dialog reveal finished and break out of this. Otherwise, we're going to start from here. Current index will equal to I here. I guess I could return like so. All right, so what we're doing is we're incrementing the index by 1, checking if it's out of bound. If so, we're saying that the dialog reveal is done and do nothing. Otherwise, we're going to start from the current incremented index all the way to the end, iterating through one at a time until we find a child that is able to play, because otherwise we don't care. Because, you know, the user of this thing could have added any kind of component in there, and then it's going to start it. If it does successfully start, we're going to assign the current index to be the I, and then we're going to return as well out here because we don't have to continue. We just need to do it on play next, like so. So let's test that out. One way to test that is, I think, so let's say on main, I'm going to add a dialog box here. And for now, I'm just going to be, you know what? I got to do canvas layer here, don't I? Canvas layer. I'm going to add that to dialog box. It's a full box here. And over here, func ready. We're going to say, hey, dialog box. We're going to add a, what is it? Text label. Mr. Magoo says, not this fella again. How are you? I'm doing well, Magoo. Welcome. It is this fella again. We're doing well. We're just doing what we do, which is keeping ourselves busy by just programming random stuff. I say random stuff, but I do have a goal, and it is still game dev related. You know, we're making Uber templates for Godot, which I like to do. Because I like the idea of being like, okay, well, now I have everything. Let's do some game jams real quick and see if I can just kind of whip out stuff really quickly. Just imagine, whip it out. Imagine, whip it out. All right. Well, actually, maybe don't quote me on that. Maybe I shouldn't say whip it out. Imagine and just make that quickly. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay. I think we're in we're in agreement, so to speak. All right. So for example, I could be like, hey, very fast text incoming, slow, and the slow is part of this paragraph. And then I could do another one that says, And the next paragraph starts without an issue. Maybe even the third one. And then I want to say, hey, dialog box, we're going to play you. And I want to see what that does. I have a feeling it's not going to work because of the whole like panels minimum custom size issues. But, you know, in order to actually see the issue, we got to start somewhere. Okay, it says has method and base null. So get child I, get children count. Okay, so, oh, right. We're getting a child of the wrong parent. Okay, one bug at a time. Smash, smash. We be smashing. All right, no bug or no error, but nothing's showing up, even though it should be already playing. I think that is also because of this. So let me go take a look at the remote situation. We have a VBox container here. Everything is visible, and they have appropriate text, except this last part for some reason. We're going to go through this one at a time. All right. I have a feeling it has a lot to do with the minimum custom size here. So we're making the text label to be full rect. That means if I add this over here, and let's say by default, I'm going to add some label here so we have some presence for testing. So if I go boop, like that, I don't see where the VBox is. Like it's hidden somewhere. Expand. We're making this container expand. It's not going anywhere. It has a size. It does seem like the scroll also has a size, but it's not really showing up anywhere. Maybe it requires a content margin. Makes no sense to me that it would. Okay. Scroll is within side. I can see the square that it fits. And VBox. VBox seems to be the right size as well, right? It's filling up. And then the content underneath the VBox is a 0 height entity. This is an issue. Even though I made the thing full. Oh, I needed to expand, huh? I do think that it needs to be shrinked again. But it doesn't have a appropriate minimum size. I was hoping that it would adjust its own size based on what the content is. And it doesn't seem like it's doing that, which is annoying, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. So it's a panel container, and panel container I thought would change based on its child, and it doesn't. Is that only a panel thing? Look, maybe I need to use something else then. So do custom size is whatever it needs to be. Yeah, look at that. What if this was panel? Now it's going to break for a little bit, but I want to make sure It's a container. I want the container size to be sensitive to its content. Text label itself right now doesn't have any sizing information, but it is a fill, meaning it's going to obey the sizing information of the parent. Oh, that is kind of annoying. And this one also depends on its parent. What if I just change it to panel? If I do panel, for example, I feel like that's not kosher, but we'll figure it out. Oh, what if we wait? Clip content. We don't want it to clip. That's for sure. It's force fitting the content. We got auto wrap. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're now allowing text selection. We have display text here. Okay. And so if layout says it's full rect, are we going to full rect this? Okay, we can do full rect on the label itself so that it follows the sizing of the parent. It's not clipping, so the parent sizing doesn't really matter for this guy. How do I detect the height it needs to be? How have we been doing this? Is it only a label thing? I mean, we can give each line a height. Hey, Newhouse, welcome. I mean, technically, I could give each label a new height and it might work, but that seems silly. Like, for example, if I say, hey, you know what? It's like 100 wide or 300 wide, it's still squashed. I don't want to have to assign the Y. I do know. Let's see. Hold on. I know certain containers resize based on its parent. So, for example, if I have like container, say flow container that can only arrange its child controls horizontally, wrapping them around at the border. Right. Let's see what that does. So we have this thing, this one with this size. Doesn't seem like it's following the content. We're going to have to look for some online help here. I feel like this, like whenever I mess with the UI blocks, I always end up having to search this. We got a bunch of building blocks. Let's see. Godot container resize based on varying child container or control, right? Those are designed to automatically position and resize their children. But what about parent that changes based on the label? How about this? Godot resize container based on label. Scaling labels within a container. Yeah. Let's see if this has any hint. I guess I could refer back to what I had before and see what I did. As you see, I have text box scene. I mean, I know the VBox changes everything else as well. Just put a new control node between your label and the VBox. This will then allow you to directly. No. That's not what I'm looking for. Your node will automatically resize to fit its children. Yes, that's not what I'm looking for. We got the auto rep. Common approach for panel container with a single label child is to connect the label's resized signal to parent container and update the. Oh, I see. So there is a common practice, but it is code. There's no like automatic thing. Though I don't know how much I trust this because it's also AI generated, but it kind of makes sense. I want to see if the resize on the AI or not AI, the resize signal of the text label comes through or not. I want to see. And then I say text label. Size, I guess. Check it out. And then basically when new text gets fitted, I want to see if this sizing changes based on this. Position, we got full rect. But how does it determine what the full rect is if the size of the parent hasn't been determined? I don't know. That seems a little bit weird. Label. Get minimum size. Size equals. I don't know. Well, we'll try it. Get minimum size will equal to the size of the container. I have a bad feeling about this, but we'll see. Let's see how that works out. I'm already getting a bunch of errors down here. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's working. There really has to be a better way, honestly. Let's start it out. Hey, Simon. Or is it Simone Loss? Or Simonelle? Simonelle Oss. Or Simone Loss. Hi, everyone. You're witnessing me struggling to resize things, which doesn't surprise me. Full rect. Then it'll always show something, right? And then yeah. But I don't want to have to give it a minimum size. Do I? Here. Main. Okay, well, 3 items are in there. And then those items all have text in them. Maybe not. But it's not revealing anything or showing anything. Oh. YouTube seems to say that I have a signal issue. I have noticed that my internet is kind of finicky right now. Where I'm living right now, there's a flood warning currently. And I think that is impacting a lot of the services down here. Simone, you need to tell me what your actual name is. Is it Simone or Simon Loss? Whatever. It says, I'm a noob in game developing, so seeing you struggle makes me feel better. Ha ha ha. Yes, exactly. We're all noobs in this day and age. I think the true difference between completely being lost and having experience is in how you manage to get out of the hole, right? Everybody goes through the hole of like, oh, I'm stuck. But I guess the real difference is, you know, in the logic of how we get out of that. All right. McCray says, remember, no one ever just knows something from nothing. It takes time and effort to get good, and even the good people sometimes struggle with things. Mostly, yes. We struggle with things most of the time. Okay, it seems like the signal, for some reason, is not being emitted. First of all, I'm noticing that perhaps the start is not even playing. So let's get that fixed first. We have that. It does that. Parse string, and then it's coming through. It's going to do whatever it needs to do here. It's going to parse the labels out here, hopefully. And then under the process is what I'm looking for here. Comes through. It is not finished. Parsed speed is not empty. And we're currently on the 0th one. Comes here. We're going to reveal some letters here. I want to see. Okay, it does get here. We revealed one letter here. And I don't see it over here. That's my issue right now. It's saying that the visible label has been revealed, but yet I do not see those labels. Let me change this to full rect here real quick. And I'm going to go back to the code. You know what? I'm going to wait for it to get here. Oh, there's something going on. So there are texts going on, but it's all the way into the corner. All right, let's try that again. I want to witness it without being interrupted. All right. It doesn't like this whole thing. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. Because I don't really trust that is doing what it thinks it's doing. Get rid of all that for now. Okay, we're here. Play that. Oh, something here. Okay. This is very slow. We'll probably need to up the speed here. Let's make it... Well, I mean, very slow is okay. All right, play next. We're over here. We go boop. And then... Oh, okay. We're getting something. We're getting somewhere. Still the issue with resizing. I mean, I don't want it to have a fixed size. I definitely want this to have a size based on the requirement. I want to see if the size gets bigger, if there's too many words. How about that? So we're going to have a big one here. So we'll just blah, blah. And then I'll just keep copying and pasting these. Um, slow, very fast, fast. You go. Um, Simon? Chuck says, or Chuckle says, I've learned more through tenacity than through intelligence. You know, some might argue that the tenacity is intelligence. Whoa. Hold on. Has it started in the same section? Oh, it's ignoring the background completely. Right? It's because it's not resizing the parent. We're quite in the predicament here. Um, you know, people always talk about intelligence. I mean, there's difference. There's the like quick to learn things, but at the same time, some people are quick to learn things based on what they know already. So it's like it's never an absolute measurement of intelligence. But I do say the ability to go through boredom, sit through boredom, really does help with looking like you are smart, because that's what gets you to a finally successful spot. Simon or Simone says, honestly, I'm barely 17, but game developing has been a dream to me for so long. Most times I just struggle because I literally don't know the code, but I know how to fix a problem. And that's, you know, how you start, right? You might not be able to build, I don't know, Millennium Falcon. I don't know what the more modern reference 17. What do you guys build with Legos? Let's say there's an amazing piece that you want to build with Lego, and you can see it when it's wrong, right? You can see that it's wrong, and then you can kind of tell what pieces should be put in there in order to make it look right. But then if you were to start from scratch and then come up with your own plan to make one, it may feel overwhelming, but over time you get it, you know? Because I think it's better to learn through tutorials or courses, or I don't know. I think both are good, depending on your personality. Like, what courses do well is kind of give you that accountability of the fact that you paid for it. Um, it's easier to commit and feel guilty about not committing to something when you paid for something. And a lot of times the paid courses also have like better um, content or like more commitment. It comes with like one-on-one mentorship or whatever. But at the same time, you know, I could see somebody doing it without paying a dime and be successful, but it requires a lot of self control. And I could say, you know what? I feel like most of the learnings I've done is not through a course, but self learning, which it is, right? For example, Godot, I learned it by myself. But I did go to college for computer science. I paid for that. That's technically a course. And I learned a lot of important things. There are a lot of information that you might think, oh, this is useless. This doesn't help me with making games. But then 10 years later, which I am now, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I learned those things. And I wouldn't have had the foresight to know to learn those things. So there's that, you know, there's that little like tidbit where I'm slightly biased and say, hey, all these information you can get without paying for courses. But then the real value of paying for courses or school isn't in the fact that you learn what you want. I think the value of the course or class comes in the information you learn that you don't know you need yet. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now, of course, I'm a little biased right now. And also, my YouTube feed seems to be really laggy. I'm sorry. Um, I'm a little biased because I'm also launching a course right now. I'm working on a course, like a beginner friendly uh, zero to hero launch your own game course. That's part of the reason why I'm making this template, because I want to use this template as like guidance and then like teach a lot of things. But so I'm a little biased. So don't take my word for it too much. Kagami, thanks for the follow on Twitch. Newhouse says, I forgot all the coder math from coding courses, but it does come back. I forgot a lot of those things. I forgot a lot of my linear algebra, a lot of the matrix transformation, a lot of the math and all that. But whenever some problem comes up, in the corner of my mouth, in the corner of my mind, a reminder comes through that says, wait, I think there is something that I can do with this. And then, like, maybe I know the term, maybe I know like this, that allows me to search it faster than if you didn't know it at all. So even if you forget, being able to recognize a problem in itself is very beneficial, I think. Simon says, I think it's better to learn through. Oh, no, I already read that. Hopefully that makes sense. Tell me if I didn't answer you. Sorry if it lagged out. Um, Le Ginger Dev says, yo, 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 yo. I hear there is chatting a dev game. Chatting a dev game? We're chatting and we're doing game deving. Newhouse says courses. Like, what is lerp as function? True, 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 true. I mean, that's where you'll search it and you'll know. You'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right. And I have to, a lot of these things I have to search every single time I do it. Kagami says, keep work. Keep work. Keep work. Oh, keep working. Stop talking. Okay. Now my viewers being like, Ezra, please stop talking. Daniel says, I'm thinking of making 4 or 5 retro game and packaging them as a single app. Bad strategy? No, I don't think so. I do think that any kind of game works as long as you understand this thing. I do have like 4, 5, 3 to 4, like kind of like a game design series I'm working on right now, which revolves around self-determination theory. So self-determination theory is psychological study where it studies where people they studied why people do, and they studied and categorized why people do the things they do, like what makes us motivated to do things. And part of that study has this like thing called like competence, uh, autonomy, volition, relatedness. So those are some of the pillars that talks about it, which is very relevant to thinking about like how do we make our games so that people want to play our game, or how do we make our feature in the game so that people want to engage in it. And big part of it is basically, if you distill it down, is this, right? External, extrinsic, external, um, locus of control, meaning people forcing you to do things, turning into an intrinsic motivation, which is it turns into something I want to do, right? So, for example, open world failed this in the big part of beginning of open world boom is they just put bunch of places and things to do out there and said, here, it's an open world play a game, and a lot of people got bored because there's no motivation to do particular things. In fact, it feels more open world if it is more railroaded and say, here are things that you want to achieve. You can achieve those things from these options. Instead of players being like, I'm going to figure out how to achieve those options, if you just say, here's how you achieve those options, people still feel like they're in control because they automatically associate, like, I have a desire to do something and the choice is over here. Like that connection becomes harder. So, having said all that, if you think about those things, doing whatever doesn't matter. Packaging 4 to 5 retro gaming, that's okay as long as you think about uh, it as, what will player want. I feel like my stream is really laggy. Is that true, guys? There's a flood going on. There's a flood warning over where I am right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if my signal is really bad. If it's unbearable, let me know so I can just stop. Legendary Dev says, I got a question for you. Since you seem to be insightful with game design opinions, would you be up to playtest my game? I've had about 10 game dev streamers give it a go. Yeah, sure, I would do that. I also have, by the way, I've already done it with 2 people. I have a free one-on-one consultation, either it be like for technical or game design, like hour or two, as long as you agree to be recorded for a future video. I have a series where I do the game design talk and try to go over it. I mean, obviously, I come from the angle of like, I'm going to assume I have no idea how to do this. We're going to think this together. Only skill that I bring is the fact that I've worked in the industry. And then I have critical thinking that may be helpful. So that's something you can sign up for, by the way. But I don't mind playing the game. and giving my 2 cents and discussion. I love discussing game design. Peace says, hello, senpai, miss me? Hi, Peace. Yeah, I missed you. US says, I love open world if I can sense creators' way of linking idea or moods that they build like Fracture Story. It's true. Tony says, no, it's all right, I think. Okay, good. Because I'm noticing that the YouTube connection is like keep lagging. I'm going to pause the video here so I don't get to witness that. Camsley says, best game you played so far? I really, okay. I know this is the most recent one, so I might have like the recency bias. But I think for each genre, like for the genre of role playing game, the Western role playing game, I think Baldur's Gate 3 really hit it, in my opinion. Um, the kind of like the raw number of content that they added in terms of providing satisfaction, like it's the closest I think they have gotten digitally the feeling of tabletop game. So that's my favorite. Um, this year, Expedition 33 really impressed me. I have my own issue with it. It's not my favorite, but I do appreciate its a unique mixture of like JRPG genre with like the modern twist. And then, the problem with JRPG for me is that they haven't evolved their UX and UI at all, right? They are very stubborn with the whole like complex mechanic, complex like very combat focused game where basically more than 90% of the time you're playing tutorial and are learning new things. And that works for some people. And I think Expedition 33 really brought that into the modern, like more generally acceptable UX and game design. So I appreciate that. I wouldn't say if it's like the best game I played, but and also I think when I first played Hollow Knight was that experience of like this is the best Metrovania feel I've had in a long time. I mean, those are pretty common. So it's like I'm not saying anything new. So I feel a little lame, but you know, they did well for reasons. Let's see. Simon also says, sorry, it got sent before I finished the message. I totally failed at doing that though, because I never touched Godot. Lol. I'm using Unity right now. Hey, I mean, Unity's okay. You do whatever you need to. I do think that I prefer Godot just because it's like open source. It's going to be here. People are going to be continuously forking it. I do think that there's a shift away from Unity. Besides, I said this the other day, big game companies already don't use these like ready-made engines anyways because they don't want to be paying a lot of money to these people. So in terms of industry standard, and this goes in the regular technology as well, like because I worked at Amazon and Google, right? They do use stuff like Java, JavaScript, Node.js, all those things, but then they end up making their own infrastructures, the toolings, all those things. So like learning Jira or whatever may be useful because it has similarities, but at the end of the day, the real ability to be flexible and apply what you know and then map it to this new tool is more important. So the tooling itself that you choose, I don't think is as important. And big companies will always want to like fork the engine and create their own version of it. And Godot, since it's free and any company can do it, I bet is a prime example of big game companies or small indie companies wanting to fork and make their own versions of it, unless you're Amazon, unless you're these other tech companies that wants to also sell game engine as part of their platform, then they're gonna make some sole version, is my opinion. But yeah, Camsley says, what is the best game you play so far? Wait, hold on, I already answered that. Daniel says, thank you. Yeah, no problem. I don't know what I'm being thanked for, but no problem. New says, Twitch seems to stream fine. Okay, that's good. Maybe there's a little bit of delay. New says, I love open world if I can sense. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I had something to say about that. I do love open world if I can sense the creation. That's also why I don't appreciate like auto generated stories as much because there's no flavor. There's no like, there's something about like knowing this person purposely put this landmark on this place for me to recognize and want to go there. And there's that anticipation, right? The anticipation as a player to be like, whoa, I see something cool. I know for a fact if I go there, I'm going to find something. I think I'm going to find something there. And you go there and you do find something. That's like relating to the designer, right? That's like you just made a human connection with the designer, with somebody's, with the world, where you feel rewarded for guessing this like sense of adventure. It's like the desire to climb Mount Olympus back in the past to meet the gods, because that must be it. That must be it. But if you go and you don't see that, then it's like disappointing, right? So I don't know. There's something about that. Legendary Dev on Twitch says, I have 10 years game dev experience. I used to do consultation and private teaching for game dev, but I acknowledge that even with experience, developing a bubble will be bad thing. Just finished a 10-hour stream on it. Nice. Well, I appreciate your feedback on that. It makes perfect sense to me. At least it's good to have somebody who agrees. Let's see. Chuckle says, didn't Unity start out as open source, free to use? Yeah, and it went public. Ooh, all hail the Orb Alpha. This is the game? Okay. I'll take a look. It's a downloadable game? Hopefully no Trojan in here. Um, that's the thing. But I don't think Godot will ever go public, because most of his code is, well, because even if they do, up till the point where they privatize, is available for public. They can't retroactively say it's no longer open source because it's already been released. So Leginger says it's trusted by Hypnotic and a bunch of others. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to change our path today. We're going to pause a little bit and play this game by Leginger Dev. 10 years industry experience. We got real gamer out here. Hold on, did I download? Oh no. Oh, my internet seems to be a little iffy. Hold on. What is this notification? I got followed by Amy Sky Sunday. Hello. Thanks for the follow, I guess. Legendary says, your stream is buttery smooth though. So you say. All right. What did I just do? I feel like I just closed my downloads. No, I didn't. It's right here. Rendell. Hey, Rendell. Good morning from Melbourne. Welcome. All right. We're going to, I guess, copy this, extract it to desktop here. Oop. We got the Godot berries out here. I suppose we'll just do it like that. And boom. Let's see. Alpha test of Leginger Dev. No expectation at all. It is made in Unity, after all. Apparently, real game devs. Wait, is it Idle Cultist Yexi? Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, Giddy World says, from good to she. Hello. Oh, okay. Hold on. First of all, is all the audio from the game kosher? Kosher. As in, am I going to get flagged? Or should I keep it muted? I don't think there's any audio, though. I don't see any audio. No? Okay. I'm going to mute it then. Go to setting. Oh. I'll do SFX only. How about that? I'm too scared for the music. Custom made? Okay, cool. All right. Nice. Look at that. Ooh, I do love these type of effects. The whole 2D in the 2D asset or low res asset in a high def world. as that HD. Wow, I clicked the orb and I got an achievement already. Zeus says, sadly, I have to mute stream since I can't get distracted mid-game. Oh, I see. Rendell says, question, when making a game where seeding is available for reproducibility, how do you implement array shuffling in Godot to reflect this? Array shuffling? I do believe when you do the array.shuffle, that is that the seed of the randomness does impact that for the game in Godot. Can't hear on stream? What do you mean? I turned it on. There you go. It might be just quiet. I'll mix it. Do you hear it now? It says so. It's the most I can turn it up, by the way. Sorry. It's the loudest it can get. Alright. I think the vibe is there. So far it's invoking curiosity. Alright. Oh. Oh, the orb has consumed me. Okay, we can move around. I can't afford it. 0. Ooh, okay. I do like the... Okay. Oh, it's a cookie clicker. Kind of. A right click doesn't work. Okay, no other key. Just the clicks. Okay, it's like the... Ooh. Okay. Upgrade, which is devotion power. The orb grows stronger. Increase per click. Yeah. We're familiar with this. Right mouse and drag. And we golden. Right mouse and drag. Middle mouse to scroll. Yeah. Okay. We got some nice clicks for that satisfaction. Increase orb per click. The orb grows stronger. Amplify your faithful touch. Percent increase? What does that mean? Like, I get more percentages per click? I see. So this is a multiplier effect, and then this is a flat effect. Ah. I mean, I'm familiar with this kind of game, with this type of game. I mean, this type of game is very addicting. I know for a fact. I mean, the math is pretty simple, though. We're gaining 50% for 320 versus gaining 40% on 162. So in the beginning, this is more worth it. Right? Giddy says, I meant Unity from good to fun joke, I see. Okay, what's the upgrade? Touch of the Devoted. Sometimes twice as nice. Ooh. Double touch? 2x orb chance. I see. Okay. Okay. Here's a question. Does the percentage increase on click or on orb? I guess it doesn't matter. Because when I click, you may get 2 orbs, but then both orbs will be applied with the plus 200%. Right? Total 15 click. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Alright. Ooh, more. Ooh, I like this. This is very unique. Exciting. You're missing the onboarding part. Ooh. Summoning chamber. Okay. I mean, this is interesting. This is like a really interesting twist on the what do you call these? Like the clicker game? Okay. Lost soul joins plus 0.5 devotion per click. And a cozy place for your cultists to chill. Oh. Okay. I see you. Incrementals. Gideworth says, is there more rooms next to with other orb? Yeah, seems like it. 12k. 12.5k. And eventually it becomes an engine. I don't know what the end game would look like. I mean, I know this itself is like enough for people to feel satisfaction. You know what I was thinking that would be really interesting for these type of games that nobody has done so far? What if there's a multiplayer like versus mode for these? Like I could be here, like the urgency is the fact that I just want to be good at like getting a high score. But after that, you're done with the game, right? After you experience everything, I mean, you've done it. The replayability suffers a little bit. Wait, come here. I love the sound. Very fun so far. But if I can like actually go against people, that might be interesting for me, you know? I feel like this +1 is no longer worth it because each percentage, so this is a 50% increase, right? So 50% of this is always 3. So this needs to be 3 times this. So right now, in order for me to be worth clicking the first one, right? Am I crazy? Le Ginger Dev says multiplayer crashes scope so much. It does. I understand. Riddle says you can't tie array shuffle to a specific seed unless you reset the global array share seed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. Rendell says not quite. Array shuffle uses global rand, which is shared by all other global. So this is what I've done, Rendell. I don't know about seeding itself. So you can set the seed in the global, or you can't. I just feel like I remember having to extract the seed from the global so that it matches the seed of the rand. And then there was like some thing where you can sync those two things. I just want to see what the new room is. Ooh, chill area. Cultist Devotion Grove. Okay, cultist power increases. Okay. That's kind of worth, I think. Next cultist capacity. We don't need that yet. We need to buy more cultist. What is this one? Extra leg room. We don't need that. What about this one? This one doesn't do anything. Does it? Unless I bring him here. Go chill. Chill. No? Okay. I'll just summon more. That's pretty fun. I think I see the potential here. Legendary Dev says I really should hide it. It does nothing for now. Oh, I see. Well, I mean, for now, yeah. If it doesn't do anything right now, it's just kind of, hello? Why won't you summon? Give me more summon. It won't let me summon. Am I crazy? Teeny tiny chance of spawning a burst of gold orbs. Okay, we need that. Visual bug. Check top left. Top left? I mean, huh? Chuckle says, yeah, the art design is really nice. Yeah, I do like the art design. It's overall fun. I like the flame. Oh, I see. I'm maxed. There you go. Extra leg room. I see. 2 out of 3. Cool, 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 cool. It wasn't talking about this space. I got confused because when you grab it, you see the space here where you can put 2 out of 5 versus this one right here. I didn't realize this and this is a 2 separate thing. But don't over-index on it, obviously. That just could be my issue. Let's see. Obviously, we just need the more cultist power. I just need the cultist power to be faster than my clicking power. And then teeny tiny chance of spawning a burst of gold orb. What's the chance? It doesn't really say, huh? Yeah. Newhouse says, I wonder if anyone has ever thought of making Cultist Tycoon similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon. That could be interesting. For some reason, that sounds familiar, though. Sorry, Randall, we can't help right now. Hey, thanks for the follow, Aaron. If anyone in the community knows seeding the array shuffle by setting a global random. Oh, it has a max value. Okay. A little lame. I don't want to be kept. Efficiency prayer. Cultist learns how to devote more efficiently. I see. It procs more often? Okay. So you're changing the rate. I feel like you could benefit from whatever. That's information issue. I feel like there's some UI issue of like some of the numbers and like how it describes what it gives. Like those are okay, but like this part, you know what? Whatever. It's just me. I think you shouldn't over-index on that. Rendell says, yeah, that's what I thought. My problem was the other cosmetic environment calls to the global rend causes my replayability to not be in sync. Thought maybe you experimented with alternate local shuffle. Yeah, no, I never had to like actually see those shuffles before. Though I feel like I never actually had issues with that. Legendary Deficit, I literally added those today, so it's not clean pass yet. I see. What is this again? What is that symbol? I want to know what that symbol means. Doing pretty well, right? Legendary says go through door. I see. Okay. I mean, summoning more doesn't do anything now, right? That will be the max. I'm already at 5. This is my 5th one. Let's go. Boom. Boom. Pretty cool. Ooh, don't know what it is, but I'm gonna put them. There you go. Have to summon more now. Essence. Okay. Life crystal does something. Ah, that's the thing. Okay. Says efficiency increases. Uh-huh. Okay. My click is dope. Yeah. More upgrades. More power by the golden orb. Yes, please. So if you click on the gem and buy a single upgrade. Oh. Your cultists have learned to harness their inner life force, generating more life crystals. Increase. Oh, I see. All right, we got next. Simple. All right. We need more of these. Do I have to collect it? Oh, I do have to collect it manually. Hey, thanks for the follow, Thorny. AKA, this is not my game. This is a game the Ginger Dev made. I'm enjoying it. This cookie clicker with very, very addictive number going up thing. Now, is this gambling? I don't know. Is this Skinner box or is it actually fun? That's for us to decide. I feel like there's a kind of like progression and ways to win, maybe? So it feels okay so far? Thorny says, Legendary Dev, you're creating crack. Yeah, no. Seriously, it's really good. So far, so good. I really enjoy it. Nothing in here. Work in progress here. I find this interesting. This looks fun. I like accessing new room. New room feels really good. Oh, I can collect points? What does that do? A customer? Okay. Alright, what the duck? Okay, these are like achievement door, huh? Help! Okay, work in progress. Okay, cool, cool, cool. More. More! Give me more! I just like opening new things. I don't even feel like I'm urgently like click on the thing. And also, so far, click the duck. Cute. Oh. Okay. Okay. I see you. I see you. You know what? Here. Bring over here. More prayers here real quick. It's maxed already. Work in progress room. Sick. I like it. I like it. I like the whole expansion thing. I do think that there's... I feel like you probably got this already. There's a little bit of a progression issue. If that makes sense. You see how, like, I went from reading... So I was doing this. Thorny says game will sell 10 plus copy easily. Yeah, no, I think it's like has a virality. For the longevity though, for the longevity of the game, if I have to give you a comment. Yeah, Aaron says too many rooms unlocked too early. Exactly. I mean, there's a part of it where I progress really extremely fast, and suddenly I didn't even realize I had more things to unlock. I was just reading this. I sat here, read this, closed it out, and suddenly any room I wanted to unlock, I could unlock. I was like, boop, 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 boop. Unlocked everything. Now, if your goal is to be like, you know what, there's going to be more gameplay with this, and this is not it. Like, you still have reason to upgrade your thing. Like, I maxed out everything pretty early on. I'm already... Right? I think. Yuha says, can I have silly feedback? Or you can give silly feedback. Whatever feedback I'm sure helps. Legendary Dev says, oh, all work in progress rooms are the same values. I make things cheaper for people to see in a short period. I guess that makes sense. I feel like it's still part of the gameplay for you to be like, here's a big thing. It doesn't have to do anything, yeah. Because it has a slightly more stickiness if you do. Obviously, you know that. Nothing wrong with having stickiness as long as it serves a purpose, I think. Whoa. What just happened? Oh. Okay, well, dragging this is actually kind of annoying. I wish I could click on the thing and assign instead of dragging. I need a cultist management window, because when I'm dragging, like, I don't know. There's something about this feels, you know? Does that make sense? If that makes sense. The Ginger Dev says, follow me on Twitch and you'll find out hopefully soon. Yeah, exactly. Go. Okay, let's give Le Ginger Dev a shout out. Go check out Le Ginger Dev to follow their progress on this game. It's looking very promising. I like it. So far, so good. Really fun. Obviously, there's a pacing issue, but that's nothing like amazingly terrible to fix or figure out. I think the vibe is there. It's definitely too quick. US says, if cultists had 4 different moves and different strategy, makes them more towards some dark magic element or something, about 4 element shrines or something. I mean, that could be really fun. If you like, why not? This is a cult thing, right? Why won't you like indulge in that? Like, go harder on the cultist, the variation of cultist. There's a cult vibe. Cool. But I lost the cult vibe about halfway through the game. Now I'm just clicking. So can we bring that cult vibe back somewhere in the middle of the game? For the end game, maybe? You know? To be more consistent? I think. That makes sense. Like, it would be even more satisfying if there's a goal to this orbing. What if it reveals an entirely different cult where you're overtaking with your orb power? Like, that would be an increased like stake that you didn't think about in the beginning, where you start overtaking different cult with your cult power, and then suddenly you actually have additional reasons to click, not just upgrade in order to get more orbs, but orbs have reasons. I don't know. I like that angle, you know? That's just me. 56, okay. Newhouse says maybe traveling orb battles to be only dominating orb. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, it is about cultists. Like, it had a very strong cult comedy vibe in the beginning, really focusing on that aspect, and suddenly that aspect got lost somewhere in the sauce of clicking and upgrading. I think it would be really fun to like tie that vibe throughout the game towards the middle and the end game as well. Yeah, that's my thought. Hey, very cool. I don't know what I'm looking for anymore. I'm just clicking to get everything filled in, I guess. I think the proc time is the best one to get. Oh, Cultist is maxed out. Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, I think that's a good place to be. I don't know how to end the game. Is there exit? Okay, there it is. Very cool. Thanks for sharing. That was fun. No, I see the potential, but I do stick by the feedback I was providing with the whole like. I would love to see the whole like end game, middle game, more spreading religion vibe, more cultist vibe. Would really tie this together strongly to make it more than just a clicker. Aaron says, delete user data button is so big I could click it by accident. Yeah, that's right. Legendary Dave says, do me a quick favor, go and click to remove data in second. Okay. Hold on. Shoot. I already closed it. Is this gonna impact it? I say you hit a little whimsical thing in the background. Nice. This section cannot be undone. Yes? Hey, at least it confirms, so that's good. Nice.